Hello, mathematician. Here we're going to graph quadratics. Now this does take 3 different steps, so watch the video for the step that you need, and if you need to pause and practice, then go ahead and do that. Now the first step that we will take is we will find the axis of symmetry. We will use the formula x equals negative b divided by 2a. The second step will be to find the vertex. That means we need to find the xy coordinate where the parabola, either its highest point or its lowest point. In order to find the vertex, we will plug in x and solve for y. After we have the vertex, we will make a table and graph our quadratic. That means we will need to determine other x values and then solve for the y's. So I'm going to use this quadratic equation, y equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 3. Now I'm going to remove the other paper just so it's easy for me to work, but then we'll come back and graph it. I'm going to leave my postcard right there. Now, to help me to solve this type of problem, what I do is I actually very lightly just write y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So I make sure I know what my terms are. So notice that a, and here it's going to be a negative 1. Then I notice that my b is a positive 4. That's going to help me with my first step. So my first step is to find the axis of symmetry. I'm going to write my formula, x equals negative b over 2a. I do that so I remember that negative b. So when I get in here, I notice that a is negative 1 and b is positive 4. Now when I substitute my values in, I do use parentheses to help me keep track of my signs. Notice I have a negative and then I have a positive 4 divided by, I've got to keep the 2, and then my a is a negative 1. So I'm going to use parentheses to remember that that is negative 1. Now I'm just going to simplify. That becomes a negative 4, and 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. Now, of course, I can simplify more, so I know that a negative divided by a negative will be positive, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now I know that x is 2. That's my first piece of information. Now, number 2. We are going to find the vertex. To find the vertex, I need an x comma y, which I now know my x is 2. So I'm going to look for my y. To find my y, I am going to use my same equation, y equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 3. Now every place that there is an x, I'm going to substitute my value of 2 in. So if it helps you, draw your little arrows, and I'm going to rewrite my formula. Here we go. So now I have a negative. Now remember, when you substitute in, use parentheses. Squared plus 4 times 2 plus 3. Now my order of operations says I need to handle or deal with my exponents first. So remember, this is just 2 squared. This is the negatives on the outside, so that negative is going to stay negative. And then 2 times 2 is 4, plus 4 times 2 is 8, and then I have a plus 3. Now if I put those together, I notice that 8 plus 3 is 11, and I minus 4, and I get 7. So y equals 7. So now I know that instead of my y here, I am actually just going to write a 7. So that is my vertex. So now I'm going to bring my other paper back over because we have found the vertex. And my axis of symmetry was 2. My vertex is 2 comma 7. So now I'm going to put it in my middle row. So 2, 7. I actually at this point could go in and start to kind of sketch out my parabola so I know what to expect. My axis of symmetry tells me that the center of my parabola is going to be right here. Remember, this is 0, 1, 2. So if you kind of want to sketch that in, you can. then I know that I have a vertex. So either the highest or lowest point will be at 2, 7. So 2 and then positive 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is going to be my vertex. Now I can actually take a look and notice that this is negative, which means that my parabola will be opening downwards. But I need to determine some more points to draw it accurately. So if this is 2, then this can be 3 and this can be 4. Since this is 2, I'm now going to go backwards. This is 1, this is 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come over here, write my equation, y equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 3. Now I'm going to actually plug in my 0. That's the easiest one to do, because as soon as I plug in 0 here, I have negative 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 3. Those are all zeros. So y is 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 right there. Then I'm going to substitute in my 1. So y equals, and instead of my x, I'm going to put a 1 in, plus 4 times 1, plus 3. So that is going to be 1 squared, but because that negative is out here, it stays negative 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3. 4 plus 3 is 7, minus 1 is, you guys see the fly? He wants to make an appearance. Okay, so 7. So now I'm at 6. So y equals 6. Now I'm going to do these two, but I want you to see a pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in y equals, this time I'm going to use 3 for x. So I keep my negative on the outside, I substitute in my 3 squared, plus 4 times 3, plus 3. 3 squared is 9, but remember this is a negative out here, so it stays negative. And then 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3. So I notice that negative 9 and positive 12 become a positive 3. Then I have another 3, so y equals 6. That's interesting. Notice that. Now let's do 4. Okay. Y equals negative, remember parentheses, 4 squared plus 4 times 4 plus 3. 4 squared is 16. Keep your negative, plus 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3. Oh, that's cool. We have a 0 pair. Negative 16, positive 16. They cancel. I'm left with y equals 3. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. So, for future problems, you will have your vertex. If you solve the 2 above it in the same format that I have, you can actually use those same numbers. So I think you'll see that as a pattern after you do a few. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and plot my points. So I already plotted my 2, 7. Now I'm going to plot 1, 6. So I'm going to go to 1 and up to 6. Then I'm going to plot 0, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to plot 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, up to 6. You should see it's making a pattern. Do you see that pattern? And then 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, then up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now that I have plotted my points, I can actually just kind of sketch in my smooth parabola. And the problem is complete. So go ahead and practice. Remember, keep your little card step by step and ask questions if you need help.